Hi guys. So now that you have finished your research proposal and you've finished your outline, the final step in the class is to actually write the research paper. And this actually won't be as hard as you might be expecting it to be, and it definitely won't be as hard as it would have been if we didn't do the middle steps of the research proposal and the annotated bibliography. So basically what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to take your commented research proposal or even your ungraded research proposal, and you're going to be able to take elements from it and just tweak them a little bit and use them towards this research paper. So this PowerPoint isn't very long, so let me just take you through this. Okay, so here are the sections that will be in the research paper. You need a title page that goes on its own page. You need an abstract, which goes on its own page. So the introduction will start on page 3. Then you need the definitions, the body of the paper, the discussion, and references. So if you notice, if we're comparing this to the proposal, there is no expected results section at all. And there is no literature review at all. The literature review is going to get replaced with the body of the paper. So element number 5 here is where you're finally going to be writing your content about, causes, symptoms, treatments, stuff like that. So the only thing that you have to do is you have to actually write number 5, and you just have to actually tweak number 6 just a little bit. Everything else just needs some minor adjustments. So let me take you through each of these. So for this paper, you're going to end up having to use a minimum of 3 of your original sources from your annotated bib. If you're still using 8, if you're still using 5, fine, but I just need a minimum of 3 sources. Also, this is going to be a minimum of 3 to 5 pages. That does not include your title page, your abstract, or your references. So basically, starting from your introduction to your discussion, I'm only asking for 3 to 5 pages. So that's a very low page count when you already think of how long your proposal was with all of those sections. So if I add in your title page, your abstract page, and your references, then I'm looking for a range between 6 and 8 total. To be honest with you, students usually turn in somewhere between a 10 and 15 page paper. I'm not asking for that, but that's just what it ends up as. So please don't get freaked out by the page numbers here. Just like everything else, everything has to be in third person. And it's going to be set up the same exact way as your proposal was, with your title page, your abstract on their own pages, and then your introduction beginning at the top of its third page. So what I would recommend doing is actually take your proposal and then do File, Save As, and start your paper there. So the tweaking that has to be done, let's see, do I have it in here? No. I'm going to go back to this slide. As far as the tweaking, the minor adjustment you would have to make on the title page would be probably the date. Most of you are keeping pretty general titles. If anything, maybe your title might have to be adjusted, but your due date would probably be the only thing to change. In the abstract section, you would if you included in the literature review, this proposal will. In the discussion section, in the expected results section, you would have to take that out because we don't have an expected results section. We don't have a lit review section. And you would replace it with what you're going to talk about in the body of the paper. But the top part of your abstract probably wouldn't need to be touched, depending on how you wrote it. Your intro, if you kept it general enough in your proposal, then you probably might not have to touch that at all. If you did the definitions section for the proposal, if anything, you might just have to expand this section If you didn't do the definition section for the proposal, this is where you're going to have to make sure you do it. And again, I think I go into that at the end of this PowerPoint, but the definition section, the terms have to be bolded, they have to be alphabetized, and they have to have an internal citation at the end of it. And then your reference sheet should already be done. As far as your discussion section, if you did this in the proposal where the beginning part of the discussion talks about the impact that the research could have on other people, and then the second part of it was the part where you complained, then all you're going to have to do is delete the part where you complained and leave the part about how this paper could impact other people. So your discussion section is just going to be the impact on others and possibly yourself. No complaining section for this one. Okay, so you could read this slide yourself, but basically I don't think any of you really need help at this point with this slide because everybody has really narrowed down and focused their topics very, very well. So one thing that we need to make sure of is that we use headers. So this is something that might be a little confusing, but this is why I had you do your outlines, so that it would help you out with this section. If you have your outline next to you, there are going to be certain ways that you need to format things within the paper. So, for example, do you remember in the proposal how I kept pointing out that the word definitions was on the along the left-hand margin and it was bolded? How the words literature review were bolded and they were in the center, and how expected results and the word discussion, they were bolded and in the center. The reason I kept referring to that is because in the research proposal, those are actually called APA headings. So if you notice, the things that get formatted, centered, and bolded, just like literature review, discussion, and expected results, they're considered a level 1 heading. So if you have your outline, basically anything that you have written next to a Roman numeral, you are going to write in the center of the page, bolded, with uppercase letters. So let's say one of your Roman numerals is symptoms, because in that section you want to talk about symptoms. Then the word symptoms would be in the center of the page and bolded. So then there's level 2 headings. These would correspond with your outline. These would be your capital letters A, B, C, or your capital letters. And it's going to look exactly like your definitions word did. So it's going to go along the left margin, and it's going to be bold. Your level 3 is going to correspond with any numbers that you had in your outline, if you broke your outline down that far. And if you choose to, then you would indent the word, you would make it bold, and you would lowercase it. So that would correspond, again, with the numbers on your outline. 4 and 5 would go deeper into the outline. So 4 would be your lowercase letters that are in the parentheses, and then the 5 if you did the lowercase Roman numerals in the parentheses. For this paper, I am asking that at the very least you use level 1 headings. So you either should have gotten or will be getting a student sample paper from me. And I want to look and see if I have it digitally for you. Analytical research paper. I don't have the one that I'm going to give out or in class. I don't have digitally, it looks like. But I do have something else that I can show you so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I had to do an outline, and I had to do the outline the way that the headers are done. So See how this is in the center and it's bolded? This is a level 1 heading, so this would be where my Roman numerals were. This is a level 2 heading because it's aligned left, it's bolded, and it starts capitalized. This is a level 3 heading. This is a level 3, this is a level 3. This is a level 2. And then I went on and so forth and so forth. So I kind of created an outline with how the headings are formatted. So that this way, when I turned it into a paper, basically all I had to do was put information in between these areas. And I want to show you what that actually looks like, because that was my next step. That's not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. Sorry. So, here's what you're doing as well. Here's the abstract. The word abstract is not bolded, and remember that paragraph does not get indented. So, this is the same exact title that I had on my title page. You're doing the same exact thing. And this is my introduction. This is going to be much longer than what yours is going to be. And for this particular paper that I'm showing you, it didn't need a definition section. So I just want to show you this as far as the headings go. So remember how in the outline that I showed you, this was going to be the first thing that I wanted to talk about. This is the overall topic of my paper. And these are the things that I want to talk about. So when I put them in my paper, this became a level 1 heading. So this is a main topic. So this would be a Roman numeral in my outline. And then here comes the information about it. Now I'm going to break this down just a little bit further because I want to tell people about the history of for-profits. So I'm going to do a level 2 heading. Basically, these APA headings are designed to help the reader navigate through the article or through the research paper a little bit faster. So think about when you look at a magazine and they have these section titles over the pieces of content, and it helps you find what you want to read faster. That's the point behind these. So here's another one. And this is formatted along the left margin in bold with capital letters, so that's a level 2 heading. Here's another level 1 heading, or what my Roman numeral would be, because now I'm talking about something different. This is as far as I'm asking you to go, is the level 1 headings. The sample that I provided you in class, or will provide you in class, actually has, I believe, up to a level 3. I don't know if I have, I'm just scrolling. So far, I'm just at, these are all level 2s. I don't think I have a level 3 in here. Yeah, I don't. But then my references start on their own page. So that's just kind of to show you what these levels, these headings look like in a paper. And honestly, in this paper, this is the trickiest part of the new element, is getting a hold and getting a hang of these headings. So the following slides just show you different ways to do it. Now the thing is that you cannot just stack headings on top of each other. You need at least a sentence to separate them. So if you have a level 1 heading, maybe it says symptoms, and your first symptom is dry mouth, and you want to put a level 2 heading to label dry mouth, you have to put a sentence in between symptoms and dry mouth. You can't just stack them right on top of each other. Then if you ask me why, it's because that's another weird APA rule. So here's another way just to look at the same thing with the headings. Personally, this is my favorite way to look at it because then it tells you where your paragraph starts in relation to the heading, so it helps you out. So basically, if you can remember that a level 1 goes with a Roman numeral, if you remember what these correspond with in your outline, then you can create your headers. So that was part of the reason why I had you create those outlines. Again, this is what this slide shows you is what I showed you in my paper of how I did the outline, was that I already did them with the headings and stuff formatted. Okay, so You will have to use internal citations for this paper. If you use the internal citations in the definition section, do not get page numbers because you are using the source as a whole to create those definitions. However, everything else that's in the content in the body of the paper either needs a page or a paragraph number. So make sure that you look back on your class notes about how to format in-text citations. So again, these are just some of the things that you're going to have to do to move from your proposal to your paper. So the title page, change the due date, maybe change the title. And these are things that I already said a few minutes ago, so it's just kind of a little bit of a review. The abstract is still going to be between 150 and 300 words, but you're going to remove any information about the lit review, limitations, weaknesses, or expected results because those things don't show up in this paper. Again, the definition section you might either need to add to or create from scratch if you didn't do it for the proposal. The lit review you are going to completely delete, and that's what you're going to replace with your content and those section headings. The discussion, you're just deleting the complaining section, and the expected results you are deleting entirely. So really the only thing that you have to do is write the middle part, write your content. And at this point, you've gotten so familiar with your sources that usually students can crank that out far faster than they ever expect that they can because they've already gotten so familiar with this. So I'm going to be giving you a handout in class. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't have it electronically. I really thought that I did. Now that makes me want to look more. Because I usually have everything saved electronically. But I thought that this video might help you a little bit more as opposed to doing the lecture in class. So this way you could watch it several times if you choose. This way, you have it at your disposal. You can pause it. You can back it up. Things like that. Now, the goal is to have 2 drafting workshops before this paper is due. So make sure that you check your syllabus and that you check with me to find out exactly when this paper the final draft is due and when the peer drafting and peer editing is going to happen. So I hope that this helped you out. Of course, if you have any questions, you can ask me at any time. You can email me, but this is the very last thing that stands between you and no more English classes. So I know many of you will be very excited about that. Okay, talk to you later. Let me know if you need me. Bye.